disinfectants. Till now, we have seen various disinfectants. Category wise, we have seen their solid, liquid, and gaseous disinfectants. Now, we are going to see how they are used for the disinfection procedures. So, in hospital setups for disinfecting the feces and urine, in how much quantity, how much percentage these disinfectants should be used, we're going to see. For feces and urine, like you can see that excreta, sputum, room, that is operation theaters disinfections, clinical thermometers, purulents and other discharges, bed linens and blankets, these are these should be disinfected. And that disinfection should be done by 8% bleaching powder solution. For feces and urine, you can use the 8% bleaching powder solution. This is obtained by adding 50 grams of fresh bleaching powder with 33% available chlorine to 1 liter of water. So 8% bleaching solution can be prepared with this formula, that is 50 grams of bleaching powder in 1 liter of water. So excreta, first we have to collect in vessels and disinfect it by adding equal quantity of these disinfectants. Feces should be broken with sticks to allow proper disinfection, and the contact period for disinfection is ideally 1 to 2 hours. If we are going to use crude phenol, it should be used in 10% crude phenol, which is prepared by adding 100 ml of phenol to 1 liter of water. 5% cresol can also be used to disinfect sputum and uh, feces and urine. By adding 50 ml to 1 liter of water, we can get 5% cresol. 10% formalin by adding 100 ml formalin to 1 liter of water. This is also can be used. And if these disinfectants are not available, then we can also use milk of lime, that is 1 part of lime to 4 part of water, which gives us the milk of lime. So this can be added to sputum, feces and urine, and it should be left for 2 hours for proper disinfection. And still, if this is also not available, then we can also use boiling water, and it should be added to the feces and covered and allowed to cool. After disinfection, the excreta is emptied into water closet or buried into the ground. So, in this way, the excreta and urine should be disinfected after disposal. For operation theaters, isolation ward disinfection. So, isolation ward need to be disinfected after discharge or death of the patients. The doors and windows should be kept for open for several hours for good aeration. Then the room is disinfected by three methods. First, it should be disinfected by mopping, then spraying, and by fumigation. The floors and hard surfaces may be mopped with formalin solution, that is 10% formalin, as we say seen earlier, by adding 100 ml of formalin into 1 liter of water. Cresol, 2.5% cresol and 5% phenol can be used to disinfect floor and hard surfaces. And the contact period should be of 4 hours. Furniture items can also be mopped with 5% of formalin solution. The room as a whole may be disinfected by fumigation with formaldehyde. We have seen the use of formaldehyde gas for fumigation. In the same way, we can fumigate the operation theaters or room when the doors and windows are kept closed for 10 to 12 hours. Here, the 10 to 12-hour period is the contact period for proper disinfection of this disinfectant. The gas is generated by boiling liquid formalin in 2 volumes of water. That is, if we add a 500 ml formalin into 1 liter of water per 30 cubic mm of space, or by pouring liquid formalin over crystals of potassium permanganate. We have seen the actual procedure to use formalin gas, formaldehyde gas for fumigation. We have to use it in two forms: by boiling it or by pouring the liquid formalin over the crystals of potassium permanganate. On the other hand, if potassium permanganate is added to formalin solution, we have seen this also, कि we have to add formalin over crystals. If we add potassium permanganate to formalin solution, it can result into violent explosion. So this mistake should not be performed at any cost. So we have to use it with caution, and the proper way to use formalin for disinfecting or fumigating the operation theaters is to pour the formalin over the crystals. All the materials in the room get disinfected with this procedure, and the room is kept closed for 10 to 12 hours, preferably 24 hours as a contact period. Alternatively, the room may be disinfected by spraying it with formalin solution. We can also spray the room with formalin solution. The articles like linen clothes, etc., soiled with blood or excreta or the sputum of the patient, they should be disinfected before they are used by others. So, for disinfecting these items should be soaked in the solution of formalin, 10% formalin or 2.5% or 5% phenol, cresol or phenol. So, they should be kept for the ideal contact period of 10 to 12 hours, and after that they should be washed with soap and water followed by sun drying and ironing. So before using these linen and clothes to the other patient, these should be disinfected with this procedure. Alternatively, these items can also be disinfected by boiling for half an hour or by steaming, that is autoclaving. Damageable goods or fur or leather and also woolen and silk fabrics may be disinfected by exposure to formaldehyde gas. So, in the section of formaldehyde gas, we have seen that for the delicate matters which cannot be exposed to steam or hot water, they can be disinfected with formaldehyde gas. Clinical thermometers are ideally kept disinfected by keeping it in surgical spirit or Dettol or Savlon. So we have seen the Savlon section that Savlon is ideally used for disinfecting the thermometers. Hot water swab should never be used to clean the bulb of thermometer because the temperature reading shoots up. So this care should be taken. Paper books and woolen material can be disinfected with hot air, and wristwatches can be disinfected with spirit. Utensils and crockery items can be disinfected by boiling for 5 to 10 minutes, and the cutlery items like knives, which may get blunt on boiling, may be disinfected by immersion in 10% formalin or 2% Lysol for 10 minutes before being washed and cleaned. So, these ideas you can also use in your home setup for cleaning this or disinfecting these items. So disposable items like tissue paper, gauze pieces, cotton swabs and rags may be directly disposed by burning or incineration, as we have seen in solid waste disposal. So these items which cannot be reused should be disinfected or disposed by directly burning. Needles and syringes can ideally be disinfected by directly disposing or by directly exposing it to hot air oven at the temperature of 160 degrees Celsius for 30 to 60 minutes. And they are best disposed by deep burial method in controlled landfill sites. However, the needle and syringes must be destroyed mechanically before burial. So, mechanical destruction of these syringes and needle is at most important before their disposal. There is an extra term called high level disinfection. So it is the process of destroying all microorganisms like spores and all viruses. However, some spores may survive, particularly if they are present in large numbers initially. So, for these type of spores and viruses, high level disinfection should be achieved, and it can be achieved by continuous boiling for 20 to 30 minutes. This is the simplest and most reliable method for freeing an article from pathogenic organisms, including HIV and HBV virus also. In when this high level disinfection is achieved, when there is unavailability of autoclaving, in that situations we can use this high level disinfections. High level disinfection can also be achieved by exposure to vapors of ethylene oxide or formaldehyde, or by soaking in chemical disinfectants like activated glutaraldehyde and carbolic acids for prolonged periods. So high level disinfection can also be achieved by these methods, by ethylene oxide or by formaldehyde, soaking into it. Instruments and equipments like vaginal spicula, proctoscope, laryngoscopes, which come in direct contact with intact mucous membrane but do not penetrate it, should ideally be sterilized. So these instruments, which are used for several procedures, they should ideally be sterilized before using. However, if sterilization is not possible, they can also be exposed to high level disinfections. Syringes and needles can also be used for, if autoclaving is not possible, then it can also be exposed to high level disinfection. But the chemical disinfectants must never be used for disinfecting syringes and needles. So this is about the disinfection procedures and the disinfectants which we have seen. So here this disinfection chapter is, and for practical procedures and for practical spotting, in next video we are going to start the practical spotters of disinfectants for practical examination. So till then you must revise these disinfectants and disinfection procedures.